we're going to spend a while with this idea so that we really, really capture it. So what you just said to us becomes, yeah, that's real for us, instead of, yeah, that's a cute thought that you just said. It's not a cute thought. That's the solution. So here's what I know for sure about the mind. There's a lot more that we could talk about the mind, and we will talk about some later on. But the first thing that I know for sure about the mind is it can only focus on one thing at a time. How do we test that? Or how can I be so sure? Can only focus directly on one thing at a time. What are some obvious ways that demonstrate this? The obvious things that we have going on that demonstrate this.
Texting and trying to have a conversation.
Or texting and anything else, right? Texting and driving, texting and having a conversation. Try reading a book and watching TV at the same time. You can't focus on both things. Now, subconsciously, peripherally, you can focus on, there's a million things that your body's taking in. We'll get to that later. But to focus directly, you can only focus on one thing. Okay, good with that? Questions? If I were to ask you, no. Okay, next. The second thing is, you can think about anything you want. There's nobody in your brain going, you got to think this way. If I were to say, with a gun held to your head, if you don't think this way, then I'm going to kill you, kind of thing. That's not happening. If I were to say to you, I want you to picture striped pink elephants that are the size of skyscrapers dancing on the rings of Saturn. You could think of that, but you could just as easily go, no, I'm going to go with zebras. I'm going to go with hippopotamuses. Hippopotami? Hippopotamuses? I don't know which it is. What's plural of hippopotamus? Is it hippopotamuses? Okay. You have 100% freedom to think whatever you want to think about. Now this might seem, well, that's kind of obvious. But sometimes we forget this and think, I can't help but think this way. The truth is, you have 100% choice. You just have to, okay, I'm going to think about this. No, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to think about that. Okay, got it? So those are our first two rules of the mind, and we're going to come back to these a couple times in a minute. The next thing I know is you can only directly experience this moment right here, right now. You cannot experience yesterday's meal right now. You can think about it, but you can't directly experience. And what do I mean by experience? When I say experience, what does that mean to you? Experience versus imagine or remember.
Well, like what you were telling him about the yogurt, like really appreciate the yogurt, like it's a really good strawberry yogurt or something, or it's really creamy, or it's really nice and cold, and I'm satisfying myself like I'm not hungry anymore. I don't know, maybe mindful about that yogurt right then and there.
Yep. So what do you mean? So how do you know that you're experiencing something? That's what you just said. How do I know that I'm not remembering or imagining, but I'm experiencing it? How do I know? What's the difference between the remember and the imagine? Let's expand on what Eva said.
This is hard for me concept because I'm Wonder Woman. I'm a mother.
Yeah?
I constantly do everything. I'm constantly thinking about my kids. I'm multitasking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping up with school, my kids, my home, my food. I'm always thinking ahead. This is hard for me to understand that just breathe and focus on
Yeah, and you're the only one, right?
Right.
You know, that's just everybody.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I like this.
Okay, so, but how do you know? So, I understand that this is a challenge for you, but by the time it's because nobody's ever taught you how to do this. Nobody's ever taught you the simple steps that will get you to here and now, which is where we're going. It's hard until it no longer needs to be hard. So just hang in there for a second, okay? Because it's a fun ride where we're going.